Hi guys! So the Lunchies have been talking about zoo animals and wild animals this week, and I have a lot of really silly, fun books about wild animals, so I thought I would record them so you guys can watch them whenever you want. We are going to start with this one. It is called Animal Strike at the Zoo. There is an animal strike at the zoo. It is true. The headlines are telling it all. The animals quit. That is it. We are through. Say all critters from big to small. We are paid only peanuts, the elephants shout, and goodness, we are bigger than that. So now we won't trumpet or lumber about, and they sit in the shade looking fat. The monkeys won't monkey around anymore. You won't see us climbing again. They wallow like big monkey lumps on the floor. We want a nice pool in our pen. I'd like a nice pool right now. It's super hot outside now. The leopards aren't prowling. The wolf packs aren't howling. The tigers aren't growling. And the otters are scowling. The worst has come true. There is an animal strike at the zoo. The zebras are looking like horses today. They painted their stripes in, you see. We are all sick and tired of eating this hay. Our good looks do not come for free. So you can see they covered up all of their stripes because they don't want to be zebras anymore. Those silly giraffes are not any better. You won't see our necks anymore. They are knitting themselves lots of turtleneck sweaters, which go from their heads all the way to the floor. Business these days is as slow as can be. Folks go to the circus instead. Nobody wants to pay money to see the animals lying in bed. The lions aren't roaring and the eagles aren't soaring. The penguins are snoring and it's all rather boring. What can the zookeeper do? There's an animal strike at the zoo. He really is doing the best that he can. The elephants all got a raise. Instead of just peanuts, they now eat pecans, and he offered them 6-hour days. They got, ooh, you know what? It's even fancy pecans, not even regular pecans. Lucky elephants. The monkeys were given a small kiddie pool, and he is feeding the zebras sweet oats. But the monkeys complain that the water is cool and the zebras demand root beer floats. Do you guys like root beer floats? I don't like root beer, but I like Coke floats. Those are good. Then in through the gate walks sweet little Sue. She just can't believe that she's here. She's always wanted to come to the zoo and she begged for this trip for a year. But no birdies are peeping and no lizards are creeping and no bunnies are leaping. And poor Sue starts weeping. Her heart is broken in two by the animal strike at the zoo. Poor Sue, she's very sad. As tears start to streak down her cute rosy face, the animals watch that wee child. A deep hush of sadness falls over the place. And then they go totally wild. With roaring and peeping and howling and growling, all critters from biggest to small start soaring and creeping and leaping and prowling, and then little Sue laughs at them all. And all of the animals find out that day they actually like what they do. The zookeeper calls the reporters to say, "Hooray! No more strike at the zoo." But the bear at the circus won't pedal his bike. Uh-oh. Now he says he's on strike. The end. I like this one. This is one of my favorites. All right, next we have an extra silly one. The Underpants Zoo. Animals in underpants. So silly. See that? Tiger and a monkey wearing underwear. There is a new zoo in town, and here's what I've heard. The Underpants Zoo is completely absurd. Come in and find out why there's been such a fuss. It is a zoo where the animals wear underpants just like us. It's important for lions to appear royal and grand, so they have crowns. Camel says, mine keep getting filled up with sand. Have you guys ever had sand in your swimsuit or your underwear? It's not a fun feeling. Zebras have stripes, but they like stars the best. Leopards prefer spots, as you may have guessed. Hippos have hearts because she is such a romantic. An elephant size is extra jumbo gigantic. Kangaroos' boxers need plenty of bounce, and for the sleepy sloths, it's comfort that counts. They have fuzzy, soft, white underwear since they sleep all day. The snakes are good friends, so they share a pair. Make fun of crocodile style if you dare. Octopus can wear 4 pairs at a time, because how many legs does he have? Can you guys count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 8th one is behind it. 8 legs. Dolphins and long johns, it boggles the mind. The penguins chill their underpants in the freezer. It's very silly, they have icicle underpants. And the monkeys' wild trunks with all these crazy patterns are always crowd pleasers. It may look as though Anteater is doing some silly dance, but look closely and you'll see his underpants have ants. Ants in his pants, that's terrible. The Underpants Zoo, I'm sorry to say, is closing its gates for the rest of the day, but we will visit again. We'll drop by very soon, and next time we will stay for the whole afternoon. The end. Next, I have one of my favorites, and it's also one of Miss Ashley's favorites. It is called Giraffes Can't Dance. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at his knees. That means he collapsed, he fell over. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthog started waltzing and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Do you guys think we should count the monkeys on this page? There's a lot of them. Here, help me out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 monkeys dancing. That is a lot of monkeys. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you are so weird. Is that a nice thing to say? It's a cold prickly, right? It's definitely not a warm fuzzy. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He had never felt so sad before. So sad and so alone. Poor Gerald. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who had heard Gerald earlier on, but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. There's the cricket right there. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is the branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything can make music if you really want it to. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin, and then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing around. He is starting to dance, and he looks happy. He threw his arms out sideways and he swung them everywhere, and then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. That is pretty impressive for a big animal like that. I definitely cannot do that. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. I am dancing. Yes, I am dancing. I'm dancing, Gerald cried. He did it. Then, one by one, each animal who had been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It is a miracle! We must be in a dream. Gerald is the best dancer that we've ever seen." How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and the stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love. Maybe you guys can now find some music that you love and have a little dance party at home with your families. That would be fun. All right, well, I miss you guys so much, and I will do some more story recordings soon, and then I do my story videos, so you guys can see me on there. But I hope you guys are having fun with your families, and I hope to see you guys all soon. Bye, guys.